What's up, everybody? I'm Nick.
And I'm Colin.
And we are Still Bussin. Welcome back to the show, guys. Great to have you here. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about why saying no to things is still bussin'.
Very bussin'.
A lot of times you think like you want to be a yes person. You want to say, sure, I'll take this opportunity. Yeah, I'd love to do that. Yeah, let's do these plans. And I think especially in our youth, teens, 20s, we say, yeah, I'll go out tonight. I'll do this opportunity. Sure, I'd love to take this job, which is great. It's what you should be doing in your 20s and even in your, teens too. If you're getting new school opportunities, you want to do this extracurricular, right? Yeah. Saying yes to everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of good. Obviously, if you really feel strongly against doing something, don't say yes to something you want to do. But, I think about, for me, even in high school, saying yes to playing a different sport. I ended up playing 4 years of a sport I was not even going to go to. And then a friend of ours was like, hey, do you want to come out for the team? And I was like, sure. Yes. And then I played all 4 years and it was great. So, so saying yes is great, but saying no is also very bussin'.
Life hack.
Colin, why do you think saying no to stuff is bussin'?
Oh man, I think there's two main reasons. One of them is internal resources, and then one of them is external resources. The internal resources is really simple. You touched on it perfectly when you're like, you want to say yes to everything. You want to be doing everything. And then as you get a little bit older and your time becomes finite and your options and availability becomes far past what you can actually be doing, it's a very simple equation of like, if you don't want to be working 80 hours a week, you have to actually say no to stuff. And even if you are saying the 80 hours, let's say you're doing 80 hours a week and then someone else just asks you to do something else, even worse. Now you're even farther down that road if you can't say no. And I was in that boat. My whole 20s, I was convinced as soon as I said no, the world ended. My career ended. My income dried up. I'd be homeless. Like if I said no one time, and I found myself in so many situations where, I would just be weeks and months of no sleep and all-nighters just to get everyone's little projects done because I had to be the guy that said yes and was always there for them. And then over time, you start to recognize like, man, not only is my external resources looking worse because I'm saying yes to stuff and I'm disappointing people with my product, my internal resources are suffering because I'm sad, I'm tired, I'm upsetting people, which makes me feel bad. And now I feel like I have to say yes to everything when in actuality, just that no is okay if you know how to do it right. I wanted to bring this up. There's a great story told by Johnny Ive, who was the senior designer with Steve Jobs before Jobs passed away. I don't know if Ives is still there. I think he went on to another company or left. But Ives was talking about how before Steve had passed and when they were, and Apple was $1 trillion company, like killing it. They're the premier product on earth. Him and Steve were obviously the guys that everyone went to. They were the two main people designing the products.
Sure.
He and Steve, I guess, one day got so inundated with stuff that that Jobs came into his office and gave him a scoreboard. And he's like, what is this? And he's like, we're going to have a contest and we're going to say who can say no to the most people in a day. That's the whole contest because they would get, they'd be getting 100, literally like a legitimate 150 requests for meetings and proposals and all these things they had to do. And they were like, the person with the most no's at the end of every day wins. And they would tally up who had the most no's because it wasn't about denying the people who need their time in the company. It was out of 150 requests, 100 of them are not important. 20 of them are just out of respect of like, I feel like I need to ask Steve. And then another 10 of them, he needs to put some time into it. But then there's 5 of them every day that if he doesn't make those decisions, it is the course of the company veering off course by a degree or two over every single month and ultimately changing the course of the product. And so those no's would filter out that process to make sure that he's focused on that 5 to 8 to 12 things every single day. And like, again, this is something I am still practicing in my daily life where it's like, I want to say yes, but if I don't say no, that one thing that's actually like feeding my wife and I and like making my life survive, I might start to pull away from that. And I might not do as well at that. And it's like that no will save your life.
What's that TikTok? I want to say yes. I want to say yes. I want to say yes. That's so true.
Yeah.
You kind of touched on that, and the idea is it's all about how you say it.
Totally.
Right? It's never what you say. Well, it's rarely what you say.
Yeah.
It's often how you say it.
Yeah.
And I think particularly talking about the working world, jobs and stuff, saying no to opportunities, saying no to jobs. Not every job is going to be for you. And if you say it in a particular way, it serves the other person just as well for you to say no. Because if it's an opportunity, maybe you're not that crazy about it. You just get this gut feeling. By the way, trust your gut feeling. You get this feeling like maybe this is not a job I should be doing. Maybe this is not an opportunity for me, but you just are such a yes person that you say, yeah, sure. You fast forward 3-6 months down the road, you've been giving half effort. You're not really getting that many results. And then the person that you said yes to is like, what's going on here? And you're like, oh, I don't know. And then you awkwardly kind of find your way out of it. Whereas if you can deliver it in a way at the beginning and say, listen, I'm kind of on a bandwidth for this. It sounds like an amazing opportunity. I just don't think I have enough bandwidth to devote to this to really make it a success for both of us. And so I respectfully want to, protect your time as well as mine.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to do this at this time. Thank you so much.
Totally. I actually straight up, you just reminded me of like a year or two ago, someone asked me to do a project. And I had the time, but I actually knew for the first time in my life, I had the clarity to like take my ego out of the equation and be like, I'm actually not the right guy for this job. And I remember this was someone I had a rapport with. And I remember point blank saying to them, I want to say no, but I don't want your project to suck. Or I want to say yes, but I don't want your project to suck. So I'm going to say no because I think I'm going to ruin your project. And they were like, whoa, thanks. I was like, yeah, man, I think I would absolutely ruin this thing. And they're like, yeah, you're just the only guy we knew that did this one capability. So like, thank you. And then they went and found someone incredible and they had a success. But to your point, if you go into a thing thinking you have to help someone, you might be hindering them from finding a resource they never would have otherwise pursued. Huge difference in the game.
Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely a beauty to sort of staying in your lane.
Yeah.
And it's the fact that you are worthy of protecting your own time.
Yeah.
I think that kind of comes with age, right? The young, eager intern at any job is like, yeah, I'll do this. And that's great. You should definitely soak in whatever place in life you're at. There's times in life where you do need to kind of just say yes to everything. But then there are times once you start to realize, hey, I'm pretty good at this one particular thing, just go deep into that.
Totally.
And respectfully protect your time and say no to other stuff. And that's going to serve everybody much better in the end.
There's also, you really accurately talked about how when you say no to something, you assume that they're not going to like you, or they assume that they're going to be, oh, well, this guy, he thinks he's better than us. There's a very weird, like, I always call it like hot girl syndrome, where I always thought if I said yes, everyone would be like, I got to go to Colin for everything. But then I had friends who would deny every project and they would get bigger offers, right? They would be like, oh, you don't want to do that? Well, can we convince you to do this music video? And I'm like, how did he get that music video? Well, he said no to everything. But there is this weird, again, the reason I call it the hot girl syndrome is it's that beautiful girl at the bar who's denying everyone. And then our animalistic instincts are like, I want her to say yes to me because of some sort of competition value. And it's like, when you do that respectfully, you don't want to be manipulative, but like when you do that with an honesty and respect for your own craft and the person's time, like you said, and you go, I can't do that. It's not even that I'm busy. I don't believe that I'm right for that. People just go like, oh, okay. Like it's that hot.
They're going to be more eager to be like, what is this guy right for?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to work with him. I wanted it, but I gave him an opportunity that it wasn't, okay, well, maybe next time. Granted, especially if it's a new business relationship and you say no to something, sure, they could just be like,
go away.
This guy, I offered him this thing and he went away.
Yeah.
But then that's kind of more on them though, right? They're not used to taking no. Can't believe they said no to my opportunity. What a loser. Yeah. Maybe they say, you know what? I respect the fact that he said he can't do it. And that's great. Maybe I find another opportunity that's right for him too.
Dang, that's such a big deal that you just touched on, which is if you say no to someone and their response is how dare you, that's the greatest indicator you ever got of that person. I've had one client do that. I was like, I literally am not in the state the day that you want to do that project, and they're just like, excuse me. I was like, oh, red flag.
Do you know who I am?
Yeah. Like they fully pulled the.
Do you know who my daddy is? You want to work for me?
But like they fully pulled that whole thing. Like, how dare you? Do you know who we are? Like, you're so lucky to get a call from me. And it was like, well, I am getting lucky to get a call from you, but like the idea that I'm not denying your entire studio because of this. I'm denying you because I'm physically not in the state, and that reaction to the no told me more than 6 months of working with him ever would have. Right? It taught me, and it saved me probably a nightmare 5 to 6 months. But like that strength of saying no had only just come into my life, and like if I had not done that, I might have said yes to this person who would have wrung me dry, and my rate would have over time dry. It would have been terrible.
Yeah, that leads me to one of my final ideas on this topic. I think we're almost out of time. And that is when you are respectfully saying no to things. Yeah. What are you saying yes to, right? Sounds cliche. You're saying no, but what are you saying yes to? Right. It's a little cliche, but realistically, you're carving out time that you would have devoted towards a project, towards a job, towards a relationship, towards going out and partying with those friends. Yeah. Where maybe you're getting into bed a little bit earlier, you're getting a better night's sleep. The next day you have the energy to hit the gym. You actually didn't throw away your week. Well, throw away. Sometimes it's fun to just go out and absolutely rage with your friends, and that's fantastic. But also, what are you saying yes to by saying no? What good things are coming into your life?
Can I throw one more story at you in that same vein? I know.
What are we at?
I feel it too. Like 11 minutes.
Oh, that's good. We're doing great. Yeah.
So to your exact point of if you're saying no to stuff, what are you saying yes to? Something that really hit me hard was I am a massive fan of stand-up comedy. I mean, I listen to it religiously. I've been watching since I was a kid. One of my favorites is obviously Dave Chappelle, a controversial subject. And he was on Rogan, another controversial subject. But like they were talking about moments in their career where things dramatically changed. Not like I got this show and then I got that show and then I got this opportunity, like boom, that skyrocket that put them into the upper echelon. Yeah. And they both had similar stories that I then cued into and tried to listen to a lot more people's stories to hear if anyone else had this. And it was a very common theme, which was they both touched on something had happened that gave them the resources to slow down for a sec, right? They're living show to show, check to check, job to job. And then for Rogan, it was Fear Factor, which obviously paid him a tremendous amount of money. Sure. For Chappelle, I want to say I think he had done like Half Baked or some movie where he got a good amount of money. Yeah. And both of them, again, independently, but they both experienced this thing where they had the time to sit for like 6 months and just be like, what? I'm not going to say yes to anything. I'm just going to sit in being me for 6 months. And both of them created Rogan creating the Joe Rogan Experience's podcast, which has now made him $100 million, whatever. And then Chappelle created Chappelle's show. Both of them created their magnum opus of career success, essentially, in those downtimes that, again, to your exact point, if you're saying yes to everything, you're going to be saying no to yourself and to opportunities that you're building for yourself. And if you're saying no to everything, you're opening up this opportunity to build yourself something and say yes to a thing that you may not have had the time or resources for. And who knows if that could be the big break. It might just be a learning experience. I took a lot of last year off and I learned a tremendous amount about myself. And then sometimes it leads to a big break. And it's like that is a very, very big factor. That saying yes to everything will not allow you to say yes to yourself. And like you said, if you're saying no, what can you say yes to?
Wise words. What's that from? Was this from Half Baked where it says, "Abba Zabba, you my only friend"?
I can hear it. I can't place what it's from.
I think that's Dave Chappelle in Half Baked. If it's not, hit me up in the comments. The guy that incorrectly quotes movies. No, but that perfect way to bookend the show. I think that's, you gave us a lot of nuggets there. And yeah, guys, protect your time. Don't be afraid to graciously turn down things, say no to stuff. And I think that's what makes saying no still bussin'. So thanks, guys, for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.